If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.
All right, it is the final segment of Monday Night Live. Brendan Ayanbadejo is your host. Give it up one more time for BA. All right, let's just... What did you just do? We gave you the goofy mic tonight, is what happened. We gave you the goofy mic, broadcast professional Brendan Ayanbadejo. We are, as we are every week, we are out here at High Tops and Timonium. I encourage you to get out here. If you're listening to this right now and you're saying to yourself, boy, they sound like they're having fun. It's because we are.
We are.
And we do it every week at 7 o'clock on Monday night, and you're missing out. The people that are here say, hey, you don't have to come. More fun for us.
Right.
But I think that you guys should come out and join in on the fun every Monday night, 7 o'clock for Monday Night Live. Yeah, I've taken a lot of tests in my life. I mean, I've taken a ton of different tests in my life.
Okay.
I've never taken a baseline test.
Yeah.
On Saturday, you had to take a test to play in the football game, right?
Right.
Tell me about the test. Tell me what goes into a baseline test.
Well, I took the baseline test a few years ago, so it's just a test you take, and it does reaction time and mental capacity to a certain extent, just memorization and things like this. So then I retook the test after having, I took it when I was in Chicago. I was a Bear, so I had to take it in 2006 or something like that. So then I retook the test, and that was fine, but from that test, they still couldn't determine if I was ready to play or not, so they did an additional test on Saturday, and fortunately I passed it.
Is there any nervous moment where you're saying to yourself, dude, are they really going to keep me out of this football game?
Well, I mean, I think the most important thing is my health, so it's definitely a lot more important than football. I want to, be able to play with my kids and enjoy life and do all the things that normal people do.
And tweet.
Tweeting, whatever. But on a serious note, I have 2 kids. I want to be able to be there for my kids. I want to see my kids get married. There's a lot of things I want to do in life after football. So I understand, with them wanting to keep me out of the game. And, I was kind of on the fence. I was a little worried about it, oh, should I play or not? Because they said one of the problems was my balance and my reaction time. So, the difference between making a play and not making a play, or making a play or getting hurt, that's all about your balance and your reaction time. So, I was a little bit concerned, but once I did the additional test on Saturday, I felt confident and comfortable enough to play in the game, and I went out and played. So it worked out.
Good in general about what the league has done for head injuries? Do you feel good, they've done their best to try to...
I mean, I don't know, because I think we're still, now that we're doing a lot of studies and guys are donating their brains, and we're finding a lot of stuff out now that affected guys, in the 70s. So now we're just getting back some of the data, but I don't think we're at the point yet where we know the severeness of the game that we play.
Okay.
So I think it's probably going to take another 10, 15 more years of research to really figure it out. And, you compare the athletes in the 70s to the athletes now, we're so much bigger and faster, and the hits are... so much more physical now than they were then. So even the results from then and now are still going to be skewed a little bit. So it's going to take some time.
And I assume it's still a tough line, because you want football to be a tough sport. You want it to be men and gladiators and warriors and all those sorts of things. And you don't want to do too much rules-wise to change that. But at the same point, the things that you just talked about are very real. You've got kids, you want to see them grow up and see the things you're going to do. So it's a tough line to sort of walk both of those things.
Yeah, and as a guy that's played, 12 years of professional football, I have a different perspective than a guy, for example, like Jamil. When I was a young guy like Jamil, I just wanted to hit everything.
Right.
And I didn't care how I hit them, I was going to hit them, But now, after having played 12 years, there's a proper way to hit people. And, you always want to hit people with your face, and you don't want to put your head down. You don't want to lead with your head and the crown of your helmet and things like that. But when I was a younger guy like that, I was going to run down there and I was just going to bust you any way that I could. But now having played 12 years later, there's a right way to play, and I think we have to kind of change the culture. We got to teach these young kids, you got to play football. You have to have your head up, your eyes up when you hit people. You have to have your chin up and never put your head down. And just got to change the culture a little bit so this game is not as dangerous as it is.
We saw that a little bit yesterday with Chancellor from the Seahawks. He delivers a hit, and it's not
himself out.
Exactly. It's not just the guy that's getting hit that is in danger of really hurting themselves. You go in like that, you're in danger of hurting yourself.
Right. He wanted to make a play, but he could have went in there, with his shoulder and probably been just as disruptive.
Sure, no question.
Now, B.A., I'm going to ask you, you just said you've been in the league many years. If you were commissioner, is there anything you would do differently to keep players safer? Obviously, we talk about the rules of suspensions, very controversial, but we hear talk about standardizing and using a certain type of helmet, the safest technology they can, but is there anything in your mind, because I know you're a thoughtful guy, that you would change to make the game safer without losing that integrity of what football really means?
I can't say there's anything I changed. I think we're trying to change all things. You have to have your chin strap button. You have to have a mouthpiece. Well, actually, you don't have to have a mouthpiece. Maybe make it mandatory to have a mouthpiece. It's kind of tough for quarterbacks to have their mouthpieces, when they're calling out a cadence and whatnot. But you don't have to have a mouthpiece. So, maybe I would enforce having a mouthpiece, having your chin strap, and coming up with a helmet that would be the most safest helmet possible. I still use the same helmet that I used when I was in high school.
Right.
Not the same helmet, but the same style, the same brand.
Model,
So. There's definitely got to be a better helmet than that nowadays. But it's actually a really good helmet for me. It fits my big old cranium perfectly. So, but yeah, I think the league is trying to do as much as they can to make the game safe, but still keep it, at a high level. I don't like to wear thigh pads and knee pads, but there's some talk about, putting in thigh pads and knee pads. I don't like to wear them. I had to in high school and college because that was the rules. But that's going to stop you from just maybe getting a bruise. It's not going to anything that's going to affect you seriously. But I think we're on the right track, headed in the right direction to make the game as safe as we can. But I think most importantly, we just need to do some more research. And it's good that they have a third party doing concussion tests.
Definitely.
And that's definitely a positive for the players. So I think we're headed in the right direction. But there's some things that we'll find out over time.
Yeah, you guys always have tunnel vision. You're thinking about your next game and nothing else. And I think that's one of the things that I appreciate most about football players. But right now, you guys have a unique scenario that's about to play out where you're going to have to play 2 football games within the span of 5 days and 2 games against very good teams. Do you think about that at all? Do you allow yourself to say, you know what, we need to treat our bodies the right way? We need to do some things maybe a little bit differently because we know this is going to be a brutal stretch playing these 2 games in this quick span.
Yeah, and then that's one thing, is that safe for the players to play on a Sunday, then to come back 4 days later and come back and play on a Thursday. So, a lot of guys have talked about, like, okay, do they really have our safety? Is that really a high priority, a high concern? Playing 18-game regular season, are they thinking about our safety or are they thinking about dollar signs? So those are some of the things more important than the equipment and the way that the game is played is that how often the game is played, regarding player safety. Now, yeah, we have to play this Sunday and then we play the following Thursday against the 49ers. Your whole week is completely different.
Sure.
There's not going to be a day off. You're going to be in practice. You're going to play Sunday. You're going to be in practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So it's going to be completely different. But the one good thing about it is that you're going to be done Thursday. And if you win that Thursday, then you get to sit there and already having your game done, you get to sit there and watch the rest of the league do what they're going to do. And you're cozy and you're comfortable and you won and everything's cool. You know what I'm saying? So now you're going to go Thursday and then you're going to have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. 6 days later, which is Wednesday, should be your next full practice day. So it's kind of like getting a bye. So if you can get into that game healthy on Thursday and get out of that game healthy on Thursday, now you have a serious advantage over the rest of the league.
It's just tough because you can't change anything on the front end. I mean, you've got a game this Sunday you've got to be completely prepared for. You can't justify and say, well, maybe we should take another day off because we know we're going to play 2 games in 5 days. You've got to say, we've got to be ready to go to play this football game.
Yeah, nothing's going to change this week. Once we get after Sunday, then that's when everything's going to change. But we're not going to have too many days off, so we're definitely going to have less time on the field. We're probably not going to be in pads at all that week either. So it's definitely it's going to be more of a mental week than a physical week. Whereas in a normal week, physical day on Wednesday and Thursday. Friday's a fast day, not as physical, but fast and mental. And then Saturday is just a walkthrough, and then you play Sunday. So you're going to have to condense all those days basically into 2 days.
Wow.
So,
wow. That's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, but I've done it before. I played on Thursday night game before on Thanksgiving. And like I said, we went into that game. We went and won that game. And then we just got to chill out and have a few days off and watch the rest of the league do their thing. And it worked out really well.
If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.